Adam, this is a new pick'em contest, and it's a pick'em contest that is not structured, however, like the other ones that are out there.
You know, Matt, this is very interesting because it is a pick'em game that looks quite similar to what we've seen from DraftKings competitors in the DFS space, and I use that with an air quotes from everything that we've discussed in Underdog and Prize Picks and Better and so on. But there are some key differences, and this game is a pick'em game. It's an over-under game, but it's a peer-to-peer game, and I think that's important to note because one of the key elements that has been at issue in this entire discussion for the last year has been that the contests are against the house that are offered by Underdog and Prize Picks and so on under the DFS umbrella, such as it is right now. And 2 of the states of the 6 that it launched in have legal sports betting in Maryland and in Tennessee. 4 do not. And DraftKings made a point to say, we have looked very closely and talked to regulators to make sure that this product meets muster. Again, kind of a veiled shot at their competitors who have been getting cease and desist notices from regulators over the last few months here because their products too closely mirror sports betting and they're being asked to shut down. Some have, some haven't. But ultimately, Matt, we talked a long time ago about the fact that if DraftKings or FanDuel or another large operator, but those 2 in particular, wanted to turn on a game that looked something like what Underdog and Prize Picks have been doing for a long time, that they would have the reach and the database to make that a pretty good competitor to what those other companies are doing. And it seems that DraftKings has picked markets where obviously they have the regulatory clearance to be able to do this, but also they didn't go after any of the big markets quite yet, right? They kind of went after some smaller markets here, 2 with legal sports betting in Maryland and Tennessee, and then 4 others. Let me make sure I run through the whole list for everybody here. Minnesota, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Wisconsin in particular. They kind of started small here. And maybe it's just the beginning of where they turn it on in these 6 states, and maybe they get a feel for how this goes and then decide whether to move it to some of the larger ones, or maybe this is just the very first warning shot across the bow of the other DFS companies that are in that space to say, listen, we're starting small here. We could very easily make this bigger, and we could very easily make this a bigger problem for you.
Yeah, I don't know the real everything behind it all or whatever, but I mean, it's no matter what it is with any of the things that you just said, I do think, it is a very real understanding, I think, from within DraftKings to the other people out there. Kind of like, I mean, there's nothing proprietary about what you were doing, right? It was like anyone could do this. We chose not to do it. We obviously have the capabilities of doing it. If we want to do it, here, let me show you we can do it and how easily we can do it. Yet we're going to do it in a manner that's not going to have regulators up our butt about it, right? And so that is something that's I think the key here in all of that. Because look, peer to peer, this is one of the things, Adam, we keep beating the desk about like over and over again about all this stuff, right? I mean, it is different when you're playing against the house and when you're playing peer to peer. That's the whole reason DFS in the first place, whenever we were going through all this stuff way back when, eventually gets legalized and all that, because at the end of the day, it's me playing against you. I'm not having to there's no house edge over me. There's no any of that. It's like, hey, I can just be better than you at this, right? There are things, and so same kind of concept that goes along with this. I'm super interested to see how it all plays out. And certainly the article written over at legalsportsreport.com, if you want to go and take in everything over there. Also something this is on the sportsbook side of things, but at the bottom of the article, I see Sam mentions that they are going to be launching a progressive parlay product in the sportsbook as well next week. We'll see how that gets received by the market. But we know, Adam, I can already tell you, the purists out there are going to scream and say that, look at this. They're going to jump up and down and say how horrible it is. And then it's going to be wildly popular amongst all the casual bettors. And it'll be like the same thing that we've been dealing with same game parlays and whatever all along, which is, hey, people don't understand that the 99% aren't don't care about the same things as the 1%, and we'll just have the same discussion we've been having for the last 3 years with it all.
Why can't this exist for everyone in different ways? That's what the whole issue is for me here. When we hear the sports betting Twitterati getting all upset about things like a parlay where you don't have to hit every leg in order to win, but the odds are worse for you. And they're treating people like sheep, saying, how could you do this? Don't you understand? The odds aren't as good. They don't care. They don't care. They just want to play this game that gives them a better chance of feeling like they're going to win something when it comes out in the end. Not everyone is in this to try to win big money or to make a living or to become the most reputable sports bettor in the world, or at least on Twitter, because most of the most reputable ones aren't on Twitter. So it doesn't matter if you have things that fit for multiple ways of doing sports betting. Just let people enjoy it.
It's true. A lot of, like I said, the 99%, and it's probably even higher than that, are just doing it for fun. They just want to sweat. They're watching the games anyway, and they just want to have a little bit of something going on with it. You know, it's just not really, it's not really something that they're worried about. And you know, we get sometimes we let our own personal feelings get in the way, and we don't really take a step back and realize what everybody else cares about. And so, just wanted to point that out.